I've been, making health and fitness a part of my life for many, many years now, like a decade. And I learn something new all the time, almost every day. There's nothing that I feel like I have figured out because there's always an opportunity to learn. But if we don't create those opportunities to learn if we take this stance of we're always there to prove something. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Thick Thighs Save Lives podcast. I'm Kelsey.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Rachel, and we have a great episode for you today. Super relatable. But before we get started, how are you doing? Are you doing okay?
No, I'm going
Oh,
to be honest with you. I am not doing okay. But you didn't expect that answer. But I'm actually trying to be more cognizant of answering honestly with how I feel, because I think sometimes my affect is very deceiving, where like I'm bubbly and smiley, and sometimes that is how I present, but I feel really sad. So I'm trying to have my words match my feelings.
well, that's good because
I
I'm
started that out
trying.
pretty hard.
Yeah, well, that's no, it matches because I'm trying to ask people how they're doing, like a genuine thing, not like how's the weather, how you doing? Like I'm trying to ask them in a way that is seemingly genuine so that they can respond in a way that isn't like a greeting.
You
So,
did you did a really lovely job with that. I just want to say acknowledge that you did a really lovely job with that, because we didn't talk about this before we started, guys.
no, we didn't.
This is how we go. But I felt I could answer in an honest way because of how you asked it. I could feel it.
Well,
Like, you did
good.
ask it in a really genuine way of like creating space for an honest answer, not just like, how's it going? Good, good, good. Like, it was-
That's how you normally answer, and it's
well,
like,
I feel like a lot of like older folks, they, I said it in the way like the older folks answer, how's it going? Good, 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 fella.
good.
Like, okay, then you hit the weather.
Then you gotta hit the weather.
Next
Weather's
step.
up next.
Next step.
So yeah, I want to continue to make space for that as much as you want to develop it. You look great. I wasn't. Sometimes I feel like when you ask genuinely, like when you look someone in the eye and say, like, "How are you doing?" They immediately start like fixing themselves.
They do.
They're like, "Oh God, she's seen through me." Like they start like fixing their hair and being like, "Oh God, it must be because like my physical appearance is disheveled." That must be why she's asking like that, but it's not. It didn't have anything. It's just a thing that I'm doing to like you said, like create space for people to like actually, you know, talk genuinely about how they're feeling, but and how they're doing. But it doesn't have
But
anything to do with that.
isn't that a great insight though, that people start doing things to mask whatever it is that someone is seeing, but the reality is someone is seeing you and you've realized it, so I better fix it, better hide it, you know what I
Well,
mean?
I mean, I don't know. That's like a weird thing because when
I'm always
you
thinking about the reactions.
I know, but when you ask humans, they're like top. When you think about the needs of people, the thing people really repeatedly say is that they want to be seen.
Yeah,
Um,
but it's hard to be seen,
but
right?
yeah, because then you just start fixing yourself.
Yeah. Well, because there's a level of vulnerability with being seen. And I think that there's a lot in our culture of like what we want to control, and we control in the way that we're seen, when we're seen, when, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of control there. And when someone genuinely asks you and says like, I do see you, I'm creating space for you to answer in whatever way you want to. It's almost like, well, I didn't agree to these terms. like, I didn't
Hold
agree to
your
these.
horses.
Hold your horses. But I will say, like, although in the moment I have felt like I'm struggling a little bit. I do feel like I have a lot of tools that are kicking in, and that makes me feel confident because like I had an incredibly anxious day yesterday, and I was just like going around being like, I'm so anxious. Like when your hands are shaking, you haven't had any coffee, you're like, am I gonna have a panic attack today? Those are my physical responses. I have my heart starts going. It's just like, oh, I don't know why that's happening. You just kind of like go through. But I do have a lot of tools, and I've talked about meditation so much. Everyone's sick of hearing it, but um, it's genuinely so important for me where I like exit online and just like be and exist in quiet, and I go to the gym and I have my things that I'm like, this makes me feel like better and more into myself and my thoughts and more confident in my body and myself. And like ultimately, like we look at confidence in your body, and it kind of has gotten this, it's been this weird warped sense of like physically confident, where like that's not how I mean it when I say that. I mean like not just my body, like physically confident in myself and the tools that I have. And those aren't just like physical, those are like mental tools, but that's all within your body. So it's under a scope for me. Like it's okay. You have a lot under within your control, and you have the tools to deal with whatever is coming at you.
Well, yeah, and like also physical confidence in your body is not necessarily meaning that you think you're a sex symbol or that
Yeah,
you're a
isn't
dime
that weird?
piece or that
Yeah.
all the men want to just immediately do you. Like that's what it's because like if you say you're confident in your body,
Mm.
that's like what you're meaning. But like maybe not, maybe it doesn't have anything to do with you and your penis. Which I don't care about at all. Oh, well, what a start. What a start. So this is what happens when we don't come with an outline. Great.
Which
I've said
it's
penis in the first 7 minutes of the podcast.
that,
Great.
you know what? The people are actually going to ask for more podcasts without an outline because natural conversation, man. I'm such a hippie sometimes.
I will not comply.
I will not comply.
No. Well, like we're going to talk about today, like what we learn in the gym, like about ourselves, about other people, about just like life in general, and how the gym is so much bigger than, the place you go to burn calories and look like a dime piece
Oh
for the
God.
pieces.
It's just so like that is just the least important point of the gym. And it's just like it's something that leads, it's at the top of the line in society, whereas like in reality, in your health and fitness, your life, your mental health, your physical capabilities, all of these things, the the attributes that you can learn from being there, and like the real shit that you can uncover and work through. And like that's what we led with. You know what I mean? Like it seems so bizarre. Once you've been in this game for a while, like that idea seems so bizarre. And whatever gets people going initially, like I don't even care what,
Don't even care.
your gateway drug is. I don't care, but it's just like eventually we have to continue the conversation of there's so much to be learned here.
It's true. And it's a beautiful segue into like the thing you were saying about, that you were having an anxious day and like how, you can go to the gym and how much you understand about yourself and how that's going to work for you. Um, but it was segued so beautiful, but because we don't have an outline, I'm here to trash it. I had this funny thing that I wanted to do before we got into the episode, and I didn't tell you about it, so don't feel like you need to answer. But I had this like interest. So I was thinking about the fleece leggings.
Okay.
Okay, I'm thinking this is my starting point. I'm thinking about the fleece leggings that we just released, and I was thinking about like how incredibly just like straight luxury it
Yeah.
is to wear the fleece leggings. Like you feel like you have hit the lottery. Like, you don't even deserve that level of luxury. It's like I'm walking around in comfort that I never even imagined. And I was thinking about how, like, necessary I think these leggings are. Like, I wanna just get them on everyone. And I was as Black Friday approaches, I was thinking about, some of the seemingly, like, silly, quote, unquote, or, like, bougie or whatever, things that I've bought myself that have actually been, like, life-changing products,
Yeah.
and that I'm, like, not sorry that I bought it all, like, maybe other people would see it and be like, "Oh my gosh, come on, that's a little much. Don't you think that's a little bougie?" But when I tell you these are a these things are life, I'm not sorry I bought them at all.
No.
And I just
You go
thought
back and get every color.
that's what I'm saying. That's how I felt about fleece, and I was thinking maybe we could do, like, a little rundown of some products that maybe at the jump we were like, "Is this silly? Is this a little much? I mean, how bougie can I get?" And then we were like, "Whoa,
Changed
best
your life.
purchase ever." Yeah.
Mhm. Well, what's your start? What's your best I don't wanna say what's your best purchase ever because that's a lot of weight.
No, well, that is a lot of weight, but I guess when I say I kind of mean, like, this was something that I was like, "I can't get this. Come on. This is
Mm,
silly. I can't spend money on this kind of thing. That's so over the top." My number one thing for that has absolutely changed the game for me is, I think you got it for me. That's why I was gonna say around Black Friday time, because I was thinking, like, this is a good time
for you to
to
get yeah, I'm here
right?
for yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, this one, I told you because I was like, "This is so silly for me to buy myself. I can't buy myself this." Last Christmas, I asked you to buy me a face steamer.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. Okay. That
Game
is
changer?
the best, most frivolous purchase. Well, I didn't purchase it. Best, most frivolous gift I've ever gotten. Guys, guys,
Mhm.
if you've ever been to, like, get a facial or whatever, and they put that steamer thing on you that opens up your pores, they have those for home use. And I have one. Kelsey got it for me last Christmas, my bougie purchase. And I'm telling you, without a doubt, I use that multiple times a week. It is the most wonderful stress reliever. It's so luxurious. It works, first of all, like, it does open your pores, and, like, like, all of your expensive face stuff works better when you use it. Ugh, I'll tell you.
So when you bring that up about like gift giving, I was explaining to someone the other day because I was saying about a gift that I've gotten my best friend a couple times. I've gotten Isley a couple times, and like every year I like had gotten her like a new pair of shoes, but it was like because she came to we were shooting fleece line and she had her boots on and she's like, oh, these are the boots you gave me last year. But I was always doing the same thing. Like I was like, what is it that she wants that seems like bougie that she's not gonna buy herself? And
Mhm.
that's how I gift give is like the other thing was like some like yellow shoes because sneaker like you love them, right? Like those are the type of purchase where like this could be a staple piece, but like you can't wear them over and over. And is it really a good use? But if someone else does it for you, like you didn't have to make that choice. You didn't have to be like, well, is this the thing? And I feel like the same thing with, you know, guys, I know you're gonna purchase leggings for your best friends because like you love them or you don't. But like looking at different ones that might be a little bit more loud or daring that they might not get themselves, like they might not like teeter, they might not dip their toe in over there, but if you do it for them, they end up just like loving them. It's I for me that's like the best feeling. That's why, I was like, "You want a face steamer?" Yes. I
Yes.
yes. I
I've
wanna
been
get you
waiting.
yeah.
I feel like it's like that for fleece line too. Like, I feel like if you have a friend and they're in a cold, even if it's not like a cold, traditionally cold climate, like they're not like, if
I wore
there
them
are
already.
days, this is what I'm saying. There are days where because all that happens when you go closer to the equator is you just get more of a baby. You're just more of
Yeah.
a baby. It's just like, well, I need fleece lined in 50 now
Well, there's
because
a level of security and comfort in soft things, and this is across the board, like warm climates, cold climates, like whatever. But when you feel a certain type of way and you are looking for a sensory thing, guys, think about something you're looking for when you want like a sensory, a hug, something cozy, a blanket. You put on a sweatshirt, like you just go in like the air conditioning, you like put on a sweatshirt because I want to feel secure and soft. And for me, fleece line leggings serve that purpose.
oh, oh, the luxury. The
Because it's a blanket.
luxury.
It's a blanket on your legs.
But like
And you
it
get to walk
also
around not looking like you're wearing
yes.
sweatpants. You just walk around and you present like, oh, everything's cool, but I have a blanket on.
You don't know. You don't even know that I have a blanket on, but I
Yeah.
do. And it's like a couple years ago when those like wearable blankets came out, everyone was like, "Oh, we broke the world." No. No, because when you're wearing a wearable blanket and you answer the door, people understand what's going on there.
They know.
They know. You can't mask that. Um, so anyways, I'll give it to you can think about it. I sprung that on you and it's
Yeah.
not fair. It's not
Mm.
fair. I also have this eye thing. Oh, okay. I am not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But anyways, guys, if you're looking for a great gift, fleece lined, and also I'll share my face steamer too
Yeah.
because
I
oh
did.
that thing.
I have a mask that I'm really a big fan of. And usually I'm like, oh, face masks, like, snake oil, what's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
But it's so nice. As soon as I got it off, I was just like touching my face and I was like, wow, this is a different level of soft right now. So
All right. Well,
it's one of my game changers.
you give me the name of that and I'll get it for you for Christmas. All right. So now that I've completely off
Derailed us.
I we're so far off that it's like, well, who
See,
even
that
cares
doesn't
anymore?
bother me though. I like to go with the flow. I like to go where the conversation takes me. Rachel's like, I need an exact structure, but here's the reality of the situation is I do this to her every week where like she wants to go in a certain order and I'm like, "You know what? I'm just feeling it."
Yeah. I know.
Vibing.
You destroy my outline every week and I
I
just
do.
accept that because like I just love to let you be you, but I also am
You know
not
that's the
going to
greatest gift you
change.
can give someone.
Yes. But I'm also not gonna morph into you and
No.
say like, "Oh, I feel comfortable with that on outline too." No, no, I don't. No, I don't.
No,
And
I don't.
I wanted to bring this up as the one of the first things that I learned about myself from the gym. Um, so what we wanted to just kind of like highlight today is just some examples from our personal life of ways in which the gym has been an eye-opening fitness, health, all of it has just been like an eye-opening road to be able to learn more about ourselves, what makes us tick, like why we are the way we are, and why it's so much bigger than just like I lift the weights and the pieces follow me. Um, it's it's so much. It's such like a unique experience
I
to
wonder if
do
they're
some.
gonna bleep out
Can you
penises.
do that? Can you do that? Because we don't listen, I don't even wanna hear myself saying it. So it's just like, go ahead and bleep all of those out, and it's probably gonna be, like, a lot of extra work. I'm gonna say it one more time. Penis. Okay.
Quick interruption, guys. I have to tell you about our cold weather gear coming up this October. We worked so hard on everything this fall and getting you guys the coolest transitional gear going from summer to winter and everything in between. So check out all of our new drops at constantlyvariedgear.com. I know you're going to love them.
But one of the first things that I learned when I started hitting the gym more consistently and like really finding joy through fitness was how incredibly structured I am. How much I live and die by like the instructions and the numbers and like the I wanted to know every single thing about why the programming was structured in the way that it was. I would never ever do something like, "Oh, I'll just skip this set." Like, I didn't know, and maybe it's made it worse, I don't know. But, I didn't know about myself personally, how much I relied on structure and how much the gym gave that to me and let me have a place where I walked in and the programming was handed to me and I could just sort of go in my, like, little structured world, and how that allowed me to release so much of it in the rest of my life so that I could kind of ease up in other places.
Yeah, that's a really good acknowledgement of like this is a need that I know that needs to be met. And I can find a place where it makes me feel good and it is also serving me in my life where I can meet that need of structure and not have it be this massive thing where I need to control and have so much structure in other parts of my life, but I'm still meeting that need. And I think there's a lot of people that can identify some of the needs that they do need met and haven't found a way that is serving them to meet those needs. And I'd like to use that as an opportunity to talk about learning for a second because I think so much of adulthood has become this idea of like you have it figured out, and once you reach a certain age, like don't you we you use this language to other people, to ourselves, like don't you have it figured out, you're X years old. And the kind of limitations that we place within that language is to stop learning. You have it figured out, so you should stop learning. And I have really thought about that a lot because I think that I am drawn to learning and education, and it fills my cup, and growth is like something that I seek out. But a lot of us get to a point where we have decided that we're not learning anymore. And that feels really sad because we're learning for the rest of our lives. Every day we have an opportunity to learn something new. And it's never to the point where like you've just won. You've won parenting, you're not learning anything else. You've got it all figured out. You've won the gym, you're not learning anything else. You've got it figured out. Like you've won self-care. Like you don't win any of these things. There's no trophy. We're never to a point at any of these experiences where I feel like there is no learning to be done because I've been, making health and fitness a part of my life for many, many years now, like a decade. And I learn something new all the time, almost every day. There's nothing that I feel like I have figured out, and I'm learning to be comfortable in that and find it more exciting because there's always an opportunity to learn. But if we don't create those opportunities to learn if we take this stance of we're always there to prove something. So you're not open and letting new information in and letting new experiences in and kind of like feeling your feels and just open to learning and navigating if you're always just trying to prove something to other people, even to yourself. Because like think about what that exchange looks like. You're proving, but it's like, are you allowing space to learn? And I'm not saying that like that doesn't mean you're trying hard and you want to see if you can get this number on the bar or get this goal within the gym or learn a new skill. Well, those are all learning. Like those are all the framework I'm still working with in learning. But I just want to challenge everyone to instead, when they start to think about health and fitness, to think about what mindset they're in. Are they thinking of themselves as a forever student to this life and all the experiences that it has to offer? Or are you there trying to prove to yourself and other people what you already know?
It's that's a hard question. It's a really hard question. It's a really hard question to sit with for yourself because so much of the reason why we're prompted to fitness is is with the backdrop of like prove everyone wrong, change your body. Like it's all this like push, and when you're pushing, you're not it's not the right conditions to be able to allow things in, right? Because you're
Mhm.
pushing them away. So, it's really hard, but I think that it's a it's a step along the growth. I think that everyone is going to start in their health and fitness journey with something to prove. I
Mm.
think that it's a common reason to start. I think that people that stick with it long term start to see that crumble. And I know that for like people that start as former athletes, maybe you were, competitive in high school or college, and your normal outlet would be like when those things go away to sort of go towards the gym and have this like I'm going to prove people kind of thing. That is the immediate like path that I went on when
Mm.
I first started, because as an athlete, it was always like, I got to be the best at this. And I have to prove to other people that I'm really good and I'm worthy of coaching, and that like all of these things. And I think that's a younger person's mindset too, to be honest. I
Mm.
think that when you're young, it's it's an easier road to go of like I have to prove people, because people are constantly looking at you like you don't know anything. But it's an interesting thing that I learned about myself, another personal one, is that road, was quickly unfulfilling
Yeah.
because, so much of the it was too much comparison when it came to like the gym and my goals being based on, proving these things. That automatically for me came with comparison, and it came with like, well, I have to be better than that person, and I have to win these competitions, and I have to prove to people that I'm the best in the gym. And it honestly, that just stole a lot of the joy of fitness from me when I took this is what I do. I take things that I love and I turn them into competitive things. That is a flaw that I have. Every single thing I touch, I try to make into a competitive thing. And that helped me to learn about myself, especially after I had my son. And it was not going to be like a thing that I was going to keep up with competitively anymore. And it was like, well, if I'm not going to do it the best, then I'm just not going to do it. I did that for
Mm.
a little while.
I take my ball and I go home.
I'm taking my ball. I'm going right home. If I'm not the best at this, then I'm not doing it. And then, of course, what happens is you either leave it behind and you realize the thing you were taking from it was a some kind of proving thing of being the best, or you realize that you miss it and the thing that you were taking from it wasn't actually having anything to do with that. And then you get that nice reframe of like, I'm here because this is filling my cup in XYZ ways, and I don't need that proving to other people. I can do this alone in my garage and
Mm.
still really enjoy it. um, and so I don't know.
It's
That was a
that's
tangent. That was a real
no.
tangent.
No, it's
My
a
God. Where's
hard
my
thing.
outline?
It's a hard thing because when you start in one place and you've acquired certain feelings around an activity that you do, and I think sport in general has done this for a lot of people because the feelings that they've had about winning and what that means and how to be the best at something or not do it at all has been ingrained, even if it was, just in growing up or just doing it in academic, whatever it is that you decided that you were going to do and you had to be good at it in order to do it. And looking at the evolution of what that means in your life and how to kind of change your identity around it, because that's ultimately what we hold on so tight to. What does this mean for who I am? Am I no longer competitive? Am I no longer an athlete? We attach all of these meanings that aren't that are just that we're putting out there. What does this mean for who I am as a person? And ultimately, that's the question I feel that a lot of us are asking ourselves over and over.
Yeah, it's always just trying to identify yourself,
Yeah.
put yourself in this category and say, this is what makes me who I am. But as you get older and some of
Mm.
the things that used to define you don't anymore, you realize that you were always so much more
Oh,
than whatever small ass terms you were using to describe yourself were. I'm
yeah.
athlete.
Yeah.
Okay. Like that turns into meaning so many different things. By the time you realize it's almost got nothing to do with sport at all.
Yeah. And well, all of these kind of attributes that you gain from some of the activities that we do. And this is why I didn't want to skip over the learning aspect of that, because there's so many values that are so important in all of these things that we do and practice on a daily basis that bleed into our lives that have nothing to do with how you identify as an athlete or how good you are or any of those things, because we're all, we all have the opportunity to learn in the same way. And something that I learn constantly through fitness is that, number one, like, not to be so Glennon, but like that I can do really hard things, that I can be tired and I can get back up, and I can feel, hurt or defeated, or, I can feel things that are unpleasant and still continue to keep moving, because I'm the only person that's in control in that moment. I'm the only person who decides that I'm going to pick up the bar or jump back up or do another burpee when I'm tired. Like, those things that I feel like I continue to make choices to keep going bleed into my life, that I continue to make choices to keep going in other avenues. And it fuels the confidence for me that I can do that because I practice it all the time. I say, like, I'm really tired, but I really kept going. I feel really proud that I showed up today. And guys, this has nothing to do with your physical capability of what you're doing there, because those are all individual. Did you show up today when it was really hard? Did you keep going when you felt tired? That doesn't mean like how tired. Tireder than me, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. You felt tired, or you felt defeated, or you felt like things were spiraling out of control. And this is kind of like where the gym becomes very important to me, is that everything can feel really loud and can feel really chaotic. But when I go to the gym, I get to quiet that a little bit, and it gets to feel like I'm in control of my body. That's number one thing. I'm in control of what I do with my time here. And that builds this like feeling that I am in control of myself, and I'm in control of my circumstances, and therefore I'm going to make decisions that are going to serve me.
So let's just go through the irony of the fact that you sit in a quiet office all day and feel like that is loud and chaotic. And then where you go is actually the loudest, most chaotic place where there is like music on levels that like
Barbells.
hurt people's ears. There's barbells dropping all around. There's people dropping down in pools of sweat, yelling, coaches, clocks. And that's where the chaos stops for you. Hmm.
Yeah. That's been a thing that I've like learned throughout my life, that felt like, at an initial judgment, that feels really weird, right? You're like, how you just like you, where you say like, I need these areas of control, and you say like, but that serves me. Coming to terms with the things that serve you, even if it seems weird to everybody else, is such a mind blowing and just like a change from everything that you'll feel about yourself, right? Because it comes with less judgment. It comes with like, I know that um, being surrounded by loud things, smashing, and blah blah blah, and like where that's where I feel like this like calm and this like just euphoric more like I can finally breathe is a weird thing. And initially I was like, does that mean you're like super messed up? Like, no, that means my brain might work a little bit different, and quiet makes me anxious.
I mean, know thyself. I just like whatever that is, like without judgment, just like knowing yourself is one of the most powerful tools you can use in your life for every single thing. And that's why we always say like it seems like it's just a burpee. You
Yeah.
know, it's just
Hmm.
an hour out of the day. Like, how could this be such a big deal? It seems it's just something we're doing to get skinny. We just have to do it because otherwise the pandas will reject us. No, none of those things. I really want to
I have to say this thing because that just reminded me of when I was watching when I was at Rachel's house. She had Real Housewives on the thing, which I never watched, but I was like, oh, let me see what this is about. And of Orange County, and one of the girls was on there, and she said like she had a thing strapped up to her legs, and she said, I'm doing 200 lunges right now. She's like laying on a table, because that's what the machine stimulates. And I was like, but you're missing the whole point of the lunges. Like you're missing the whole point of the lunges. And I just like it took me back into like we're missing the point here.
if the point of the lunges is to know what you are going to do when rep 50 hits, when
Yeah.
rep 103 hits, when someone says like you could be done now, that's enough. Um man, but it's, if it doesn't, yeah, and that's, I guess that's why we're constantly on here for 250 episodes,
Yeah.
pushing the fact that, you know, again, if that's your starting point, if that's your opening drug, if that's your gateway, okay, but at some point, if it's going to stick, it needs to mean more than the same effect being you're laying on a table with a machine hooked up to you and saying I'm doing lunges right now. At some point it's going to need to matter more than that, or it's
Well,
not going to
just
be
don't miss.
lasting.
Yeah, just don't miss the opportunity, right? Like don't there every day, in every moment, we really do have something to learn. We have something to be gained from every conversation that we have and every interaction that we have. And like, it different, people at the gym for ourselves. Like there's just so much to be gained in this world with all of the experiences. And it's just such a shame that a lot of those experiences are missed when it comes to physical, when we put so much emphasis on what that looks like to the rest of the world and not what it feels like for us and what we could gain internally from those experiences. How could we heal while using some of those experiences? Like, how are those lunges maybe like helping you heal some of the things that you're going through? Maybe some of the things that you have gone through, or, some of the, for me, like, some of the experiences or conversations I have during the day where I feel like I'm going to replay them, but I'm like, while I'm counting, it's much easier to kind of sift through what that actually looks like, what it feels like, how I'm going to reflect on it. Like there's just so much opportunity there that I'm going to talk about until we're blue in the face on the podcast, because I feel it's such a shame that a lot of us are missing it.
Well, I guess we should go on a minute for the fact that you just aired my dirty laundry in front of like so many of our friends. I didn't say you could say that I watched The Real Housewives on the air, okay? Excuse me, but some of us want our dirty pleasures kept under wraps and not told to everyone. Like, how dare you?
I'm sorry. I didn't know it was a secret.
Okay. Do you like you don't have things that you watch that you're like, you know what, this is not my proudest moment.
No, I do. I'll tell everyone what it is right now.
Well, you better because now
All
you
right.
owe me.
All right, listen. This is bad. This is bad. I went on this ultimate tag show with this girl, Krishan, and a couple years ago. And since then, she started dating a rapper, and they have a reality show.
What's it
It's
called?
called
I'm gonna put it on my list.
It's called Crazy in Love. And it's toxic. It's very, very toxic. It's toxic love, and ultimately, and I can't stop. Like, I'm like, turn this off. Like, this is not serving you in any way. Like, none of this is like fulfilling, or like, and I don't know. I'm just like addicted.
Maybe we could get like a psychologist or someone like a human behaviorist guest on to talk about like why we do this thing with the dirty pleasures.
Yeah.
Like it's like we don't stand for that. Like that is not okay. We totally recognize
Hmm.
like the toxicity, but we just keep getting drawn back.
I'm like,
A moth to a flame.
I'm like, no one's here.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would never watch that in front of other people. Like, never. I would not. If someone came into a room, I would exit out like immediately.
How
Like,
this get on?
nothing going on here.
Someone sat on the remote.
Someone sat on the remote. It's like, that's what I should have said when you said you were going through my TV and Real Housewives. Oh, well,
Well, all the
probably
episodes have been
Harley.
watched.
Oh my God. Harley's at home watching. She's on my clicker. Oh my God. I can't believe you. I do want to know why we do that though. We'll deep dive into that next week.
Guys, tell us your guilty pleasures. Everyone has one. Everyone has a TV show
Make
that
us
is
feel
their
better.
guilty pleasures.
Because I'm just sitting here talking about the importance of learning and I'm like, good. Now you're
You don't have
bringing
to
up what I'm watching. God, I can't. Oh, man.
listen. Humans are so full of layers. We're a bunch of onions out here.
Onions.
A bunch of onions, and that's why I have such a problem with um the whole idea of like 0 days off, or you're a lazy piece of shit, or self-care is on the couch. Like, it's neither one of these things. It's important to sometimes take rest when you really feel you need to, and it's important to go to the gym on times that you feel that you don't want to go. Those two things can exist at the same time. So, like, it's just like the complexities continue to go, just like, you can be invested in learning and bettering yourself and also have trashy TV. Like, these things can exist at the same time, and it doesn't mean that you are one person or another. You're not a person who only like watches trashy TV, or you're only a person who watches fulfilling documentaries. You're a complex human who's allowed to experience all of these things. And the the safest thing I think that we can all do for each other is to just normalize them. Like, air them out there. Like, you are still an imperfect human, just like the rest of us.
Well, way to expose me and then talk me into the fact that it's just the thing I needed.
Yeah.
That's some. I've seen manipulation before. Holy shit. That was manipulation on 12. I will expose you, and then I will tell you how it's helping you to grow.
And it's
Screw
helping
you,
everybody
man.
else.
Oh my god. You are on one today. You should, like, go out and do all the things, talk to all the people. I think you are on a roll today. You need to, like, maximize this. Holy moly. Um, yeah, so I hope that we've shed a little bit of light on all the things that the gym can be, all the things that you can be,
All the
all
things
the
that
things
you
that the gym can be. Like, it can be a place where you go to, like, aesthetically try to improve yourself. And it can be a place where you go and say, like, I'm really working on the fact that I want to live a longer life. Like, I'm currently pre-diabetic and I want to work on that. And, like, it also can be a place where you find out who you are when you set out to do 200 lunges. And it's all of those things, and that's why it's a place that you need to be. It's a thing that you need to do. There's very few things that we have that we do all by ourselves, all in our own head.
Yeah.
And I think even if you go to, like, a crowded gym, like you were talking about, like, how that's the calmest way, and there's, like, so many people around you while you're taking a class, but ultimately you are all in your own head. And the things that you do and the decisions that you make to do another burpee or to do another set, or, like, to count honestly and not, skip reps. It's like these are the things that really make you who you are.
Mm.
And it's such a cool thing to be able to just be inside your own head with just you for a little while every day, because there's so much other things that are trying to interrupt that constantly.
And that you're trying to do for other people. I got to pick up, this kid. I got to do this for my work. I got to do I got to clean. I got to talk to this person. There's so much that we do throughout the day that is just like so focused on everyone else that if we can just take that little bit of time, and that's why I, you know, will say that time is just so important. It's a scheduled time with yourself to just be like, well, I have to get myself together right now. And that's my hour to get myself together and to just be with me. And that's an important time.
And obviously, you're going to learn stuff about yourself in that time because it's just you and you. So, we would really encourage you to share what you have learned about yourself in the gym. And also, don't forget your trashy TV, because done, you're going to make me feel bad about myself. If you're like, I'm just watching, self improvement documentaries all day. It's like,
All right, guys. We love you so much. Have an amazing week.